Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, what should be in your medicine cabinet? We'll prescribe steps to store the right stuff. Then, remember Sunday dinner? We'll serve up well-seasoned reasons to reinstate it. It's not too late to declare your independence from decay. We'll help you win the battle for a beautiful smile. Plus, give your loved ones peace of mind by preparing papers prior to your passing. We'll guide you through it. And how can you limit your loved ones from spending the money you've given them? We'll present a few possibilities.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. If we took a look inside your medicine cabinet, what would we find? Is yours a catch-all for old medications, worn-out toothbrushes, makeup tools, and more? Dr. Christine Alexander is here to help us line our shelves with what we should have on hand. Dr. Alexander is the chair of family medicine at Metro Health. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Well, you've done some shopping here for us, and you've unpacked all kinds of items that we should have in our medicine cabinet. So where do we start?
Absolutely. Well, I like to think of things in terms of categories. So things that you must have for urgent needs, things for aches and pains, and things for kind of first aid sorts of problems.
Okay, so let's get started, I guess, on urgent needs.
The urgent needs. So one of the first things I like to talk about is having a thermometer. As we age, we tend not to spike fevers, but it's really important to know if you have a fever. So having a thermometer is essential. And some of the ones that are available today are great. They have bigger numbers, easier to read, and they even are verbal that they can tell you what the temperature is if you are having difficulties with your vision. So that one's essential. The second is a bottle of baby aspirin. If you're worried that you're having a heart attack or you're having symptoms consistent with a heart attack, take a baby aspirin. It really can be life-saving. The quicker you have it, the better it is. And then the oral rehydration solution. We've got the kids' form of it here, but it works well for adults too. And that's if you're having vomiting and diarrhea.
Okay. And then we move into aches and pains, which we all have.
Absolutely. So these things might already be in the cabinet, but just to remember, something like a Bengay, a topical solution that you can rub on that, you know, for those sore joints. Compresses here that you could use for hot or cold, depending on if it's muscular or swelling related. And then two very common medicines, acetaminophen, which you might know as Advil, or acetaminophen as Tylenol.
Yeah.
And that's really great for arthritis, but remember, if you've got a liver problem, gotta be a little careful there. And then ibuprofen, which is the Motrin, you know, that sort of stuff. And you really want to be careful of that if you have bleeding problems or if you have any kidney problems. But if you don't have any of those problems, those are two great medicines to have on hand.
All right. And so some of the next items here in the next category, kind of the upset tummy medicines, right?
Absolutely. And so this is the form that's more of like a Maalox, a Mylanta. Just a little bit of indigestion, this will do the trick. If it's a bit more than that, or you've had a problem with this in the past, moving on to something that's a little bit stronger is great. We have an example of that here with Pepcid. I tend to like that one because it doesn't interact with as many medications as some of the other options. So these also are great to have on hand.
Man, medication interactions you have to watch out for too.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then finally the last category we have down there at the end is for first aid, and also for sunshine since we're now in the midsummer, so.
Absolutely. So, you know, maybe it's not what you think of for your medicine cabinet, but things, you know, for the sunshine, don't forget about your sunscreen. You really don't want to get a sunburn at any age, and wearing sunglasses to protect your eyes from the effects of the sun and staying hydrated. Now, if you happen to have an injury while you're outside and you're playing with the grandkids, having the antiseptic spray is huge. This is a great one because it doesn't really hurt. Washing it with soap and water, also really great. A quick spray and covering it with some sort of bandage is awesome and helps it heal the best.
So keep hydrated, keep protected, and have some things on hand, and you'll be good to go this summer, huh?
Absolutely. Don't wait for a problem to happen, right? Let's just have it fully stocked and ready to go if you need it.
Absolutely. Okay. So Dr. Alexander has provided us with a healthy list of items to include in our in-home infirmary. Follow her advice and stock up on these health-related staples. My thanks to Dr. Alexander for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
To learn more, call Metro Health at 216-778-7800 or visit their website, www.metrohealth.org. Next, dishing on family dinners. But first, When did we declare our independence from England? Having just celebrated the 4th of July, you may think that is our country's birth date. But history originally identified a different day. Do you know which date came in first before the 4th? We'll declare the answer when we return.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
Congress voted in favor of independence on July 2nd, 1776. So why the 2-day delay for heralding America's historic date of birth? Though the initial proposal was accepted by Congress on July 2nd, it wasn't officially initialed until July 4th, when the revised version of Jefferson's Declaration of Independence was officially adopted. So, class, that's why we celebrate liberty and justice for all 48 hours after the original approval.
Time to eat. But if you're like most families, you're grabbing something on the go as you race to your next activity, even on weekends. There was a time Sunday dinners were sacred. Shannon Gilty is here with a recipe for success for taking back that timeless tradition. Shannon is a home care consultant with Home Instead Senior Care. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So why is it so important to get back to that Sunday table?
Well, when we think about how busy we all are, we're missing the opportunity to have a connection or reconnect with our seniors and our senior loved ones. So it's really important to bring that back for them.
And bring them back. I mean, the next generation has to learn all of the wisdom that our seniors have, right?
Yes, and when we reconnect with our seniors, it gives them, makes them feel a little bit more valued. They are able to share their experiences with the grandchildren or the great-grandchildren, and it really just brings everybody back together.
And it helps them probably too with nutrition. They might not, I know that a lot of times the seniors just don't eat the right way.
Yeah, and sometimes what we have found is that our seniors, they do struggle a little bit in the kitchen. So if they're struggling, they're not making maybe the best food choices. But having the Sunday dinner pledge, it will give them an opportunity to have someone else do the cooking or help them do the cooking so they can feel a part of it.
Learn new recipes. So,
absolutely.
And you don't want people just to try. You want people to pledge, to promise to do this, right?
Yes. What we are hoping is that everyone can go to the website, which is sundaydinnerpledge.com, and make a pledge to have dinner with a senior loved one or just a senior in the community who may be in need. For every donation or pledge, $1 will be donated to the Meals on Wheels Foundation,
Excellent.
which will help other seniors who maybe don't have an opportunity to have a meal with somebody get nutrition.
All right, so you're going to show us how easy it is to fix a family meal, right?
Yes, this is a recipe that you will find on our website. And it's just a chicken salad recipe.
Okay.
I'm just going to give you just some of the ingredients. So this is Miracle Whip. So put some of that in there.
So we already got chicken in the bowl. We
Yeah,
have our
chicken's
Miracle
already
Whip.
in the bowl. We have celery,
Little crunch.
chopped pecans,
A little bit more crunch.
green onion,
Ooh, some savory in there.
cider vinegar,
Okay.
salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And then we just go ahead and mix it up. We get it coated very well. And as you can see, it was just a couple of ingredients, very easy to do, something that your senior may also have confidence in doing as well.
Even I could do this, and I don't cook.
And what I think is important too is some of this can be done before we even get to our loved one's home. So we can spend more time doing other activities.
Right, and you got some of those other ideas on the website, right?
Yes, we absolutely do. There's games that we can play, conversation starters that we can have, and it really does help the overall quality.
Okay, little pita, little chicken salad. It looks like a great meal.
Yes,
a
it
light one
is.
for the summertime. It's
Yes.
a great idea. All right. For our senior loved ones, mealtime can not only satisfy their appetite, it can feed their soul. And the secret ingredient? You! To take the Sunday Dinner Pledge and to find more recipes, visit the website that's coming up next. My thanks to Shannon for feeding us this great information.
Thank you.
For more information, call Home Instead Senior Care at 440-914-1400 or log on to www.caregiverstress.com. Next, freedom to smile. Looking for places to go? Things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Cleveland Grand Prix and Chagrin Valley Hunter Jumper Classic, now through July 12th. This annual event allows you to experience the exciting world of Olympic and world-class show jumping at the Cleveland Metro Parks Polo Fields. Need more information? Don't horse around. Call 440-461-8148 or jump to this website, www.clevelandhorseshow.com.
Have troubles with your teeth trapped your smile? Dentist Steve Marsh is here to declare your independence from dental downfall so you can be free to smile.
Hi, Lori.
With this 4th of July, couple of days here we've got going on. One of the enemies our mouth has is decay. So what weapons do we have in this war against decay?
Well, before we even get to the weapons, what's really important is what we're fighting. And your last guest talked about healthy eating. Well, one of the things that happens with both kids and seniors today is unhealthy eating. We always talk about sugars. And what happens is in our mouths, we always have bacteria. When we have something with sugar, the sugar and the bacteria come together. The bacteria produces an acid, and the acid is what causes tooth decay.
Okay.
So we have to eliminate things like carbohydrates. Well, I brought with me today a Pepsi that has 70 grams of sugar, not so great.
Boy.
Gatorade. I don't mean to pick on Gatorade, but it has 35 grams. So a lot of people take it for energy and that sort of thing. And kids do it when they're playing ball today, women or men. And then the last thing is water. So we talked about hydration. Well, most of the bottled waters that people drink also don't have fluoride. So those are the enemies. And even a little crunch bar like this thing, it's an energy bar, it works well, but it's high in sugar. So our weapons today, we have things like Prevident, which is a very strong fluoride toothpaste. It's by prescription with your dentist, called Prevident 5000. And of course, brushing and flossing and that sort of thing. So we need to work on prevention. That's what your first guest talked about, prevention in terms of medical. Same thing happens in dentistry.
Okay, and then hopefully you've prevented some, but what if some decay has happened?
So the important thing is to see your dentist regularly. Why? Because we can catch issues before they happen. Everything, again, is prevention. And so if you come regularly, we catch problems. We have things like the Explorer to find decay. We now have a Diagnodent, which is a laser way of checking for decay. And lastly, it's important when you see your dentist, when the dentist is cleaning out the decay, we now have a dye that we can paint on the tooth, wash it off, and it lets us know whether we've gotten all the decay out, which is absolutely essential.
Absolutely. So you have some examples now here of folks who have faced decay, but now their faces are lighting up just like the fireworks last night. So why don't you tell us about some of these?
Okay, so this is a wonderful story. This is a woman who had been away from the dentist for 10 or 15 years. Lori, today she had some financial difficulties, and so she came to us and talked, how can we do this and accomplish it? So rather than do a big makeover, if you will, though it looks big, we'll focus on the lower teeth. On the lower teeth, I said, Sharon, I think we can just reshape those. And that gave her a great look on the bottom. On the upper, we took out the decay that we talked about, and we put in 4 crowns and did some gum contouring. She said it was life-changing for her. She was more confident. She was recently divorced, and so she went out and she felt better. Well, it's summertime, and this woman was a teacher, local teacher, and came to me, and her teeth had actually moved from periodontal and gum disease. Additionally, she had some decay. We talk a lot about saving teeth on this show. In this case, those teeth were unsupported. We had to get them out, and we made her a partial. Looks wonderful. She later went on to some implants, but at least immediately she got this beautiful result. Lori, today people have other problems. This is a patient who had some emotional problems, had been a teacher, and by the way, this is a good time for teachers to get their teeth worked on in the summer. Those upper teeth had so much decay, Her sister was very supportive, brought her in. That's actually an upper denture, and today we can make them look natural and beautiful. You'd have trouble knowing whether that was veneer or that. And this is the same woman. She had worn her teeth out. And on the lower, we were able to save all those teeth with porcelain veneers and crowns. And again, I have to tell you, her whole face lights up when you see her, and made a huge difference. So, you know, the first thing is to be preventive with decay. Once it happens, go to the dentist, you explain what your issues are. There's a person behind it, and then how can we correct it?
Excellent information. It's your smile. Take it back. Then celebrate your teeth's transformation by showing off your shining smile. My thanks to Steve for sharing his revolutionary insights today.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, it's on a need-to-know basis. It's time to get up and go, an exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and we're here today to show you how to work every major muscle in the lower body with one simple exercise. You ready to go?
I am ready.
Let's do it. Okay. We have a chair next to us here in the studio. You should have some firm surface next to you just in case you get trouble when you're at home. All we're going to do is stand with good posture. We're going to keep our feet shoulder width apart. We're simply going to take one big step out in front of us, dip down so both legs are at about a 90-degree angle, and push yourself back up. Alternate. Let's go ahead and switch legs, down and up. In this particular movement, we want to do at least 20 repetitions so we can at least get 10 for each side. How you feeling?
Dynamite.
Dynamite, all right. Notice Lori has great posture here. She's doing good. Make sure you breathe. Exhale with exertion. Inhale as your body's resting. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
It's time you had the talk with your children. I understand it's a sensitive subject, but they need to know. And if you won't tell them, no one will. The topic, all the important information they're going to have to find out after you're gone. Need help getting the conversation started? Nikki Evans can help. Nikki has created what's called My Survivor's Guide. It's a step-by-step handbook that's going to allow your wishes to live on even after you're gone. So, Nikki, it's the Survivor's Guide. That means I'm filling it out, right?
Correct. You are filling it out, and it is an organizing tool for you to leave for your survivors and tell your survivors all about. But more than that, it's not only a guide for them, but it's also a guide for you, the person filling it out, because it includes instructions, and it also includes stories about people who have done the right thing for their families and their loved ones left behind, and also stories about not so good things.
Oh dear, so, and the subtitle is All You Need to Know When I'm Gone. So what are the kinds of things that our loved ones have to know when we're gone?
Well, they definitely need to know where your important papers are, and that includes will, of course, and they need to know what kind of money there will be available to pay for everything, and any plans you've made for organ donation or funeral plans, also whom to contact when the time comes.
Yeah, I saw that was in the book. Can't you just use the address book? You know, everybody's probably got one.
Well, I have a story about that.
Okay.
One time I came home, and on my answering machine a while ago, there was a message from a man whose name I didn't recognize, and he was telling me that sadly his Aunt Bee had died, or he gave the name Beatrice so-and-so, and I didn't recognize her name, I didn't recognize his name. I knew it was for me though, because he addressed me in the message. Come to find out, it took me about a week to realize that Bee had put my name in her address book because I was a friend of a mutual friend, and who had given her my name. So that man was going through the entire address book.
And just calling everybody.
Yeah, maybe the plumber, maybe the electrician, we don't know.
Some things are important and some not so, I suppose. So it's good to have those denoted. So, but just doing something like that in this book and filling out this address, it's going to take a lot of effort. I mean, I don't think I could sit down and just do that in a couple hours.
Well, you can't. You absolutely can't. And that's why it is designed to start with the easy stuff first, and then it moves into the slightly more difficult, and yeah, some family information, which you know off the top of your head, and then gets into the more difficult, the organizing part. And then some things about planning. What have you planned to do that you might need to go out and do?
Yeah,
but
it's not just for your survivors. You're going to need to have some active part probably if you want things the way you want them to be.
That's right.
So have you had any good feedback from people?
Well, about a week and a half ago, somebody who has a guide said that it gave her great comfort to fill it out because she lives alone. She doesn't have any family in town, has no children, and she feels really good now that she's completed the guide. She intends to write her obituary, which she hadn't done yet. There is a space for that in there. Another friend of mine has said that she's completed her guide, but the heck with writing her obituary. She stapled her resume to the page.
So let my kids do it. Huh?
Right.
So your loved ones will already be overwhelmed by your loss when you die. You can make this time easier by guiding them all to the information that they will need. To purchase a copy of the guide, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Nikki Evans for joining us today.
To find out more or to order My Survivor's Guide, call 216-544-0212 or click to www.mysurvivorsguide.net. Next, protect your assets after you've given them away.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back to help you give without getting hurt. Last week, we began a series of 4 legal segments on Medicaid planning. We discussed gifting assets to protect them for your future needs while getting Medicaid benefits. These benefits are very important to folks who can't otherwise afford to pay for the catastrophic cost of nursing home care. As long as you plan properly, you can gift assets to qualify for Medicaid. However, how do you make sure that your gifted assets remain available for you if you don't own them anymore? If you missed the segment on gifting or our other Medicaid segments, you can view those again on our Golden Opportunities YouTube channel. But this vital topic is called Protected. And my ever-protective law partner, Mike Solomon, is here to discuss protection of your gifted assets.
Hi, Lori.
So before we get into protection, let's review the gifting rules real quickly.
Okay, so if you give away your assets to anyone other than your spouse and then apply for Medicaid, they're going to look back 5 years. It's the look-back rule. And if they look back 5 years, they see a gift, they're going to make you pay for your long-term care coverage for the period of time they think you gave money away that covers that. So, for example, let me say that better. Let's say you gave away $50,000. The average cost, according to Ohio Medicaid, is $6,327. So they divide that into $50,000. That turns out to be around $8,000. So for 8 months, you have to pay for your own long-term care costs.
Okay. And you told us that gifts can be pretty much anything you want to, even though the IRS and other laws may actually be different than what Medicaid does.
Right. You don't have to worry about the IRS laws and any of this. So you can give away money, and if you can get past that 5-year period, you can qualify for Medicaid, but then you have other issues. You're giving away money to to your children or
Right.
grandchildren, and they
So
have
what
money.
are some of the ways that people can give away money and protect it too?
Well, that's number one. You can give away money to someone who's going to inherit your money anyway, your children or grandchildren. But the problem is, if you give away money to them, it's their money. So if you give it away to your children, and some bad things might happen. Now, hopefully, your children will use the money for your benefit. But maybe you give it to the wrong child, and that child's a spendthrift, and they spend all your money. Or your child has a creditor problem, and the creditors will get the money. Or your child might get a divorce, and then half of that money go to your daughter-in-law or son-in-law. Mm-hmm. Or even, bad thing happened, your child passes away prior to you. Their estate planning document probably says the money goes to their spouse or their children, and those people might not have the same interest to help you.
Yeah, well, you said, gifts to kids can be good, but how do you protect against all these risks you talked about?
Well, there's several ways. One way would be is maybe to put the money in what's called a limited liability company. This gives your money some protection, some shield from all these bad things that I talked about. So, for example, if you put it in an LLC, a limited liability company, your kids still have the money. They ultimately control it. They can pull the money out of the LLC and give it to you if you need it. But it may protect it if they have a creditor problem or they get a divorce or all those other bad things I said. So it's a way to protect your money.
How about any other options?
Well, there's several. Another one that is called an irrevocable Medicaid trust. And this is a trust. You put the money in the trust, and you don't, unlike a normal estate planning trust you may hear of, you don't get the income or the principal from it. So this money, all the income and the principal is for the benefit of your kids. It's irrevocable. You can't change it. The idea is they'll pull the money out if they need it and give it to you if you need it. So it gives you additional protection. Now, the LLC and the trust, they're all complicated documents, and there's a whole complicated area. Mm-hmm. So I advise people, to sit down with a certified elder law attorney, make sure you know what you're doing and what they're doing.
All right, great advice. If you decide to gift assets for future Medicaid eligibility, you need to be sure you take the proper steps to protect your assets as well. There are many options, and we only had time to touch on a few. For more information, give Mike a call. The number is coming up next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssandplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. On next week's show, 'tis the season for allergies and asthma. We'll offer advice to help you breathe easier. Then, determined to downsize, we'll focus on factors to mull over before making the big move. We'll toast the sweet taste of summer with drinks that are delicious, and many more things. So until next time, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.